Welcome to another episode of Gaming for Grandparents. In this episode, we will play 100 door games and then we're escaping from school. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. The object to this game is just to figure out the clues in order to open up the doors. We'll start off really easy with Maya, who needs help just getting out of this first room, and some are very straightforward. Others get more and more complicated as we get higher and higher in the levels. Yay, we got through the first door. Now we're in another room and her name is Maya and she's introducing herself. And she apparently needs to go to the library, but she knows where this classroom is and she knows the way to open up this door is to move that globe. So again, we've accomplished that. Now apparently we are outside and we need to get inside. So we have to shake this tree and it's showing us how we can zoom in on an object and zoom out, but then we have to use our mouse like that in order to get the key to drop out of the tree. So I'm going to shake the mouse back and forth to try and get the key to fall. And we were successful, so we're on to the next level. But it will put all the items over on that left or right hand side, and then you can grab them from that side. So in this round we're learning that if we need help, we can click on this little icon on the right hand side, a little safety ring, and it will point fingers at what I need to do to move that card out of the way. So if you get stuck on a level, you can click on that. I wouldn't overuse it because you only have so many, and then it'll probably charge you for more. I don't remember if it does or doesn't. Alright, so now we're on our own. We're going to have to figure this out on our own. So I just start clicking things with my mouse. So I click different items, and I know it's hard to see my mouse, but I'm just clicking around different items, trying to figure out what will move or what can I collect. And I discovered that the bottle there moved, so it falls on the floor, breaks, and then we can get the key. But with each level, they get a little bit more complicated and more challenging. So now we'll move to the next level, and all I'm doing is just clicking on different things to see what will interact with me. Because whatever interacts with me is going to be a clue on how to get through the door. And that's all you're doing in each round is clicking on whatever you can click on to see if it will interact with you. So I've clicked on that laptop there, and apparently I'm now going to be playing tic-tac-toe. And I won, so the door opens. So each level is like this, where you just have to click on different things and see what will interact with you. So when I click on these little things on the side of the door, apparently I have to match them. So I have to figure out what's going to match with what so that it will open up the door. And so on one side is the athletes, on the other side is the ball or the hockey puck. So when all of them turn dark, that's when the door will open. And again, in these earlier levels, they're somewhat make sense, and others, it takes you a few minutes to figure out what do they want me to do. So the only thing that interacted with me was the pencil. When I picked that up, it started scribbling the number for the code for the door on that easel. So once again, I'm clicking on anything that will interact with me. And sometimes when you find one thing, then the pieces kind of fall together. So once I realized I had the neck of the guitar, I just needed to find the other parts of the guitar, figure out where they wanted me to reassemble it, and then reassemble it before the door would open. So now we're moving on to the next level, and again my mouse is just clicking on anything in the room, seeing what will interact with me. So the only thing that was interacting with me are the red and the green buttons on the floor, and then I see the code up on the chalkboard, and I associate the A looking one with red and the P one with green, and I just follow that code on the board. And yes, a lot of times the clue is abstract. It's not necessarily logical. And I say that just when we walk into the science lab, and of course everything in science lab is logical. Although sometimes science is not logical to me. It was never my best subject. So by golly, we're going to get out of this room by blowing up the door. So I had to mix the two chemicals together to create the fire. Now this one's a little bit more straightforward. First thing I receive is an oven mitt, so I know I'm going to touch something hot. When I remove the lid from the pot, I find the key, but I have to use the oven mitt to get it out of the pot. And then you have levels like this one that make no sense. But if we zoom in, we will find the scissors in this tree here, or in that potted plant. So we've now got the snippers, and I'm zooming in on this hanging pot because I'm going to cut that. And it's going to fall to the ground. And of course, if I was zoomed out, you would have seen the cutting and the falling better, but I zoomed in. Okay, so now I've got to find additional pieces, water bottle, and a trowel. So I used the little shovel there to pick up some dirt from that busted plant, put seeds in there, and then water it. Because we know that's exactly how we hide keys. Like before, I was saying that sometimes these levels just don't make sense. This was one of those levels. Now this one is actually fairly straightforward. We see the little note in the pocket there. I'll go ahead and look around the room, see if there's any other clues. Oh, look, the code for the door. Straightforward, piece of cake. Yeah, the only problem is you have to remember it. Unfortunately, I just turned it into a date of 1940-26. And that was the easiest way for me to remember that 6-digit number. This is another abstract level, however, I enjoyed it. So, again, I'm just clicking around the room, seeing what's going to interact with me. And I actually enjoyed this level because I wasn't expecting to get to do a painting. But you're basically mimicking. What I did was I picked up the brush. When I picked up the brush, it gave me this to replicate exactly how the other person drew their butterfly or painted their butterfly. Like I said, this one was a little bit enjoyable just because, hey, how often are we painting things or drawing things like a coloring book, and you don't have to worry about coloring outside the lines because it's filling in the paint for us. And this is what 100 Doors is about. It's just getting through each one of these doors. And again, some of these make sense and others don't. So in this one, I've got the funnel for the gas can, and now I'm looking to see if what else will interact with me. And I find some keys. Yay! So I try to get into the bus. That's not working. So I realize I have to open up the side. I tried sticking the funnel in to the tank, but apparently you have to attach it to the green gas tank. Then I proceed to fill up the gas tank, and I use the keys once again to get inside. This time it works. So the bus was covering the little box there that had the key. So now we have the key, and now we're done with this level. So this is how 100 Doors Escaping from School works. You just have to keep looking and trying different things to figure out what is the clue to open up the door. So I now know I need this box, but it looks like I need the tools to also open that box. So each room has its own little nuances and clues that you have to piece all those things together to figure out what they're wanting you to do in order to get that door open. So I think this will be the last door that we open together. I do encourage you to try this game yourself. It does really work your brain more than a lot of the other games do, because each one of these can be so abstract that trying to figure out what they're wanting from you can be a challenge in itself. But it is definitely a good mental exercise, and it will definitely have you thinking and challenging your brain. So we'll do this next room together because this next one worked my last nerve. So after clicking around the room and seeing all the butterflies, I figured there was some type of clue with the butterflies. I was looking at this as there's 2 butterflies than 1, but this note says n times 12, so I have to times whatever number I come up with by 12. So what I struggled with on this one is I kept thinking, well, there's 2 on the one side, then there's 1, and then we're going to find another 5 and another 11. So here's our 5 in this x-ray. So this person literally has butterflies in their stomach. And then there's 11 butterflies on this drape. So I was thinking it was going to be 2, 1, 5, 11 as a code. But I failed to realize I needed to add up 2, 1, 5, and 11, which comes up with 20. Then you take 20 and you times that by 12. So this one is a math problem. And I didn't realize I was getting a math problem. So I'm really right now using my cell phone calculator to figure out what 12 times 20 is, because I couldn't remember and I didn't feel like doing it in my head because I just got off work, so my brain is like, yeah, nope, you don't want to think that much. So I finally figured it out, and it is not that number. And unfortunately the hints were just pointing me towards the different butterflies. It wasn't helping me calculate it. So that one was a little bit of a challenge for me, but I got through it. This one is also different. On the left-hand side of the door, you see a number 6. The box that I'm moving, and it's the only thing that will interact with you, is the box that only wants basketballs. So you have to avoid all the other balls and catch just the basketballs. And I don't know why, but again, probably because, I just got off work. It reset me because I didn't catch the basketball, or I caught one of the other balls. So, at any rate, it took me a few tries to get this one. But at least I finally figured out what it wanted me to do. Again, this is just one of those games where logic does not help you. Because we know before you can leave the gym, you're supposed to pick up all the balls, not just one specific type of ball. So I'm just sitting there waiting, but I failed to get that last basketball there. So I have to start over, and it'll start you over, and it's just a case of using the mouse to slide the box around and try to avoid catching the other balls, and I just got another ball. But it doesn't push you back levels. You just have to restart over until you figure out how to get the door open. And obviously, in this case, the hint really isn't going to help. It's just a case of catching the ball. And, you know, I don't know if any of you have ever caught a ball with a mouse. That is not my skill set, I have learned. Normally I catch balls with my hands, not with a mouse. So this one kind of messed me up a little bit, and I struggled with it, but eventually I do get through and I do catch the correct balls and the number they want me to catch. Am I going to do it? I've only got 2 more that I need to get. Am I going to do it? Am I going to do it? Yay! Didn't even have to move the box for that one. Okay, well, I don't want to ruin the game for you by continuing to play the game and not give you an opportunity to play it yourself. So I am going to stop the video here and just recommend that you try this game out and see if you like it. So again, I got this game from Big Fish Games. They do have some free downloadable games, and some of these games Um, you can sample them before you have to buy them, which is nice. Any rate, if you're interested in this game, you can go to bigfishgames.com. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below, leave a like, and please subscribe. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your support.